Welcome back to Let's Talk About Sonic, the only podcast about the only most important, most famous, the only famous podcast, the most important hedgehog famous in the world. My name's Kreb.
My name's Mitt, and today Sonic's really important. You know why? Because I'm looking at my watch. Last week, we had a Sonic the Hedgehog Direct, straight out of Nintendo, his company. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? Thank you, Nintendo, for giving us all this new information about our famous, favorite, important, the most important, famous, favorite hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog. We love him. It was so good to see him again. It's been so long.
Yeah. He's finally back, and this time he's brought news! Sonic, what? It's not a very big bag of news.
No, this... You could have put more in here, I think.
Yeah, Sonic, there's just like receipts in here? Where'd you put the actual news? What do you mean you returned it?
I see on the back of one of these receipts there's something written about 2022. That's next year. Sonic, you don't have anything for this year?
I don't care that you're in the Olympics. Where's the news?
2 Point Hospital? Sonic, you don't have a medical license.
What?
Oh, there he goes. Okay. Well, I guess it's up to us to recap all of this.
Well, let me take this receipt out. Well, it says on the receipt that there's a couple of things that got returned. I guess he's going to pick them back up in 2022. One of them, it says Sonic Colors Ultimate, like Smash Brothers. Something about Sonic Origins, like the EA platform. Does that still exist? Do they put things on that?
I think so. I feel like I had to use that like last year for something, but I don't remember what anymore.
Oh, well. That's all it really says on here. Let me...
Yeah, and just 2022 on this one.
Yeah. Oh, I think it said something about Sonic Prime, but it was just like written in pen.
Well...
I expected a little bit more than this.
Yeah, I expected a little bit more than this. So Sonic was only here for just over 12 minutes, basically, and really managed to cram that 12 minutes full of 5 minutes worth of material.
Yeah.
Here's some little stuff that they were very excited to tell us about. They've got a new Death Egg robot figure coming out. It's big, kind of. For a little Sonic figure, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's neat. You can hit it in the chest, like in the games, and it falls apart, and all the limbs fly out, like in the games. He looks.
Hold on, is that real
goofy.
or is this a bit?
No, I'm not kidding. That's how it works. There's
cool.
a little Sonic, and he's curled up in a ball, and he's on a little catapult, and you have to shoot him into like the chest part of the Death Egg robot, and there's like a little cracked graphic on it, but it's like a button, and if you hit it, then all of the arms and legs pop out, like in Sonic 2.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that was part of it. I thought the Sonic there was a different Jazzwares figure for scale.
No, it comes with it.
Huh. How
also
big is it
Jazzwares.
actually then?
I have no idea.
Wait, I thought they said Jazzwares in the direct. No,
it wasn't. Jazzwares is the old Sonic. I forget what we're on now. It's either Tomy or Jack Pacific.
Oh, maybe it was Jack Pacific and I just mixed them up because of Ja. Either way, didn't realize all that stuff about it. I went back and skimmed the whole stream earlier just to kind of refresh myself on all the little things they put out, like the figure, they're talking about the Encyclopedia again that's coming out or is already out. I can't remember.
Yeah.
They've got ice necklaces in collaboration with King Ice and some silver and gold coins in collaboration with Atmex, Ampex, Atmex, I think Atmex.
Is that the one that comes with Sonic Colors Ultimate?
Maybe.
Or is there a different one?
I can't remember. Because all I remember with Ultimate is the keychain. And the player icons.
In Japan, they're getting a lot of crazy stuff with Sonic Colors Ultimate. Like, they're getting a huge bundle that comes with a bunch of, like, knick-knacky stuff that's all really cool to have. But there's also, like, a special edition that comes with a coin, like, for Sonic's 10th anniversary, and it comes with a CD. And I was confused because the article I read about it made it sound like, oh, they're bringing it back, like they're reprinting what they did for the 10th anniversary. And I was like, oh, sick. I want that. I would import that in a heartbeat. And it wasn't.
Hmm. Yeah, I only heard about this stuff in passing. I didn't keep stock of any of the stuff that they were getting for pre-order bonuses or collector's edition bonuses.
Yeah.
Wild. We have the less interesting stuff by comparison because it's all Sonic movie themed, and like it makes sense. They, even though it's different, it's different continuity and different media, they're trying to cross promote. It makes sense from a brand perspective. It's still very strange. There's Sonic Colors Ultimate with the collector's edition or pre-order version or whatever is going to have a bonus where the boost effect in the game is replaced by the electric boost effect from the movie, which is really strange.
It's
And
weird.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, fine, whatever. It looks like they're having more cosmetic stuff in Sonic Colors Ultimate in general anyway. So like, if it's just a drop in a bucket, like there's more kinds of boost effects, then sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's more funny that the physical version, I think it's all physical versions, or at least like first print, something like that, come with a little baby Sonic keychain, which if
Yeah,
you didn't know is overstock from Japanese movie tickets or something like that. They had some promotion in Japan for the movie where you would get that little keychain if you bought tickets to the movie.
and doesn't it still look like the old Baby Sonic design?
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's stylized a little more, so it's harder to tell, but like it's overstock.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of overstock from the old Sonic design. They were ahead of themselves making merch for that movie.
Yeah, in case anyone ever tells you that it was a marketing ploy, you don't spend that much money on a marketing ploy.
No, you don't. You don't make that many frisbees and dolls and figures and
Yeah.
posters.
You don't make weird full body Halloween costume suits for a marketing stunt.
Mm-hmm. So for anyone looking for like a proper rundown of everything that was in the Sonic Central stream here, okay. Um, Sonic Colors Ultimate is a re-release slash update to Sonic Colors, the Wii game from 2010. Yeah, 2010. That's going to be on modern consoles and the Epic Games Store for PC.
Yeah, not Steam. I
Not
think the
Steam.
website, let me check, because the website for Sonic Colors Ultimate had Steam listed and
Mm-hmm.
not Epic Game Store.
And they dropped it like within a day or something like that, within a couple days.
Let's see. Yeah, it now says Epic Game Store.
Yeah. So who knows if that's indicative of anything or indicative of something that was the case and no longer is.
Yeah.
You know, who can say? For what it's worth, I noticed in skimming the stream again that they say specifically stay tuned in the coming weeks for more info on Sonic Colors Ultimate. So they might be intending to like make more stuff public within this month, which kind of
Yeah.
makes sense. It's Sonic's birth month. It's also E3 month.
Yeah. I expect there to be more information, and I'm sure that it'll eventually come to Steam. It would suck if it doesn't, because every other Sonic game is on Steam. Like every
Mm-hmm.
Sonic game that has had a I guess a modern PC release is on Steam. So you would be splitting up your Sonic game collection for virtually no reason.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, the only major Sonic releases that aren't on Steam that aren't like major releases that Sega or Sonic Team is kind of not interested in bringing back, like '06 and probably Shadow, are Colors and Unleashed.
Yeah.
And who knows if Unleashed is ever going to be on there.
Yeah. Heroes is somewhere. Uh I don't know what they're doing with that and why they haven't re-put that anywhere else, but like there is a PC version of Heroes. It's
That's
just
right.
not on any marketplaces.
I know, I keep forgetting that's not on Steam. I think it might be on like Good Old Games or something, but a bunch of stuff is on Good Old Games.
Let's see.
Either way,
Oh wow.
no current indication that Colors Ultimate is coming to Steam. but
I
hopefully it
do
will.
not think it is. I think the only way you can play Sonic Heroes is if you own the original disc.
Wild.
Yeah.
Which at this point, it's so far out of print. There's really no reason not to go and download it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Sega can't make money on Sonic Heroes PC. You were taking nothing away from them.
Yep.
But yeah, that's one thing. Kind of details about Sonic Colors Ultimate, stuff that was briefly shown in the trailer and talked about afterward, and stuff that was only in press release kind of stuff. There's going to be a new Wisp, and by that I mean they're bringing over one of the Wisps that was new to Team Sonic Racing, the
Yeah.
Jade Ghost. Press release material is saying that it'll let you fly around and pass through walls.
Huh.
That sounds busted.
Yeah, it sounds like a slightly different version of just the hover wisp. I don't know how it's going to work. Like, Sonic Colors is built around all of the existing wisps. There's areas that are designed with these wisps in mind specifically. So I don't understand how it'll work, like unless there's just new levels or they rework levels.
Yeah. I really gotta wonder, because Sonic Colors is not a game that works well with sequence breaking. There are some spots where it kind of holds itself together fine, but most of the time, if you break the intended sequence of any level, you kind of skip over like loading zones for visuals, sometimes loading zones for geometry, and I don't know what they're going to do structurally with something that lets you no clip effectively.
Yeah, I mean maybe it won't be literally no clip and they'll just have certain walls that you can pass through and that's the gimmick. So it's just
Yeah.
hover but different.
Actually, there's a little more to it. Hi, I'm Post-Production Crep. I'm the editor for this podcast, and I'm here in an attempt to prevent this episode from being outdated before it even goes up. Sonic Colors Ultimate was recently featured in long-running Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu, something we'll mention later in the episode, but it was either featured again after recording or we just didn't have everything from Famitsu's article at the time. On June 2nd, new scans from Famitsu showed screenshots of the Jade Ghost Wisp accompanied by a brief description of how it works, and it seems like the Wisp allows you to shoot off in the direction of your choosing in a straight line, going directly through walls and terrain, almost like a combination of the Cyan Laser Wisp and the Yellow Drill Wisp. The Jade Ghost Wisp also turns you invincible, preventing you from taking harm from enemies and stage hazards. This makes sense given that its use in Team Sonic Racing was to avoid damage from other racers' items and pass over rough terrain. There's one more thing the article shed light on, but I'll bring it up when we talk about that part of the game later in the episode. Bye-bye. Now, the other thing is, press release material has made mention of a new game mode, and what that might be is something I've also seen mentioned in press release stuff, which is was it like rival something with Metal Sonic, some new challenge content where you race or fight Metal Sonic for something. It just says for rewards, so who knows? But
Yeah. I'm sure that's cosmetics.
yeah, it's probably cosmetics, because they did show in the trailer, without any sort of context or anything, Sonic having sometimes differently colored gloves and shoes,
Yeah.
especially like different paint splatter effects sometimes on his gloves.
Yeah, and there's straight up pre-order bonuses for like gold and silver cosmetics or something. So
Right. So yeah, it seems like a bunch of superfluous stuff,
yeah.
which I guess is fine.
I have to wonder if they're gonna bring over some of the DS content to the Wii version because
I know, right?
a Metal Sonic mode sounds fairly substantial, and there's other stuff that we can get into later that that seems to suggest that there's more to it. But like it still could all revolve around the new cosmetics. There's nothing necessarily to suggest yet that it can play into anything else but that. But
Yeah.
if they're introducing so much new stuff, it begs the question of if they're going to have all that play into something bigger because like in the original Sonic Colors, you just get the Chaos Emeralds by playing in the Sonic Sim. It's really not that crazy. There's really nothing that interesting to it. It's completely removed from the story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I wouldn't want them to change that. But like I have to wonder if maybe all this other stuff will have something a little more important tied to it or if it's just all cosmetics.
Yeah. The thing that comes up a lot is that Sonic Colors DS actually features most of the major cast at that time, just in side content, little mission mode type stuff, with some dialogue before and after that's fun. And none of that's in the Wii version. The Wii version is exclusively Sonic, Tails, Eggman, Orbot, Cubot, and the Wisps, and nothing else.
Yep.
So if they decide to bring over any DS content, it would be nice if it was anything that kind of tied Colors more into the general world of Sonic in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah. I mean, the missions are definitely the easiest thing to port over, because then you would just be designing little original areas that you play through, and that would also give you an excuse to have that new Wisp without intruding on the original level design that much,
Right.
if at all.
It's worth noting this port is being outsourced to a dev studio called Blind Squirrel Entertainment. God, what were they responsible for recently? Was it Mass Effect? Was it the Mass Effect remaster
Yes.
or something?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So they've got a foothold in the industry. People are already pretty critical of their work, from what I've heard and what I've seen of comparison screenshots with Mass Effect. I don't know. The trailer didn't look fantastic lighting wise. Sonic Colors is a very vibrant game. I don't really know how else to put it, just because of my artistic language, but when I look at a screenshot of Sonic Colors Wii, it feels very color segmented, like really strongly. The backgrounds in Tropical Resort are bright blue, and the ground is bright orange. And in Sonic Colors Ultimate, judging by trailer footage and even screenshots, which look a little more up to date than the trailer footage, things seem a little more muted or imbalanced. Stuff is darker in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I think it looks bad. It just looks a little different. There are some spots where it kind of looks worse. I've been seeing some screenshots, especially in like Sweet Mountain, where you can see seams in the texture work in the background, and that's not great.
Yeah, for sure.
That sort of stuff wasn't present or wasn't noticeable in the original due to resolution differences. But we're looking at a 4K remaster, so it's the highest res that things are made at for games these days, and I hope they're still working on taking that into account.
Yeah, I think the screenshots on the website came out a little bit better, so
yeah,
maybe that gives us a little hope.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of it. The only other thing worth noting, which is something we're going to touch on a little bit more because there's a little more to it, is there were screenshots shown exclusive to Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu, which has been around forever, basically, that showed a Tails icon in the heads-up display. No context for it. It did have a number next to it. People were kind of assuming it might be a Lives icon. There was one screenshot that showed that icon, but also very clearly showed playable Sonic in it.
Yeah.
So, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to it right now. We do bring up Tails again later in the episode, since at the time, bigger specifics about him in Colors Ultimate were more in the realm of leaks. Since this role in the game was laid out in the Famitsu article, I'll clarify it now. Located in parts of the levels now is a stylized Tails head item that you can pick up. Having one or more of these causes Tails to show up when you fall in a bottomless pit, picking you up and flying you to the nearest platform. The Famitsu article specifies that this save from Tails prevents you from losing your rings and being sent back to the nearest checkpoint, which ties into a larger speculation that Sonic Colors Ultimate is dropping its lives mechanic, something that a lot of platformers in the last handful of years have been doing. This seems to point to Sonic Colors Ultimate being some level of modernized from the original game, something I'm not sure that has happened with any Sonic Team Sonic games outside the original Mega Drive and Mega CD titles. Anyway, that's enough for me. Enjoy the rest of the episode. That's it for Colors Ultimate.
Yeah, there's so far there's really not a whole lot to dig into. Yeah. They really gave us the bare minimum of information for it. There's clearly more. There's definitely a lot more that they haven't told us, but they were basically just saying we're making Sonic Colors again. We're putting it on all modern consoles. Well, modern with a big question mark. Um, and that's all you need to know for now. We'll tell you more eventually. And that is the only new game that I think they revealed through all of Sonic Central that is actually coming out this year. It's coming out in September, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to think. Nothing else they showed is coming out this year, unless some of the merch is like the
Yeah,
encyclopedia. The encyclopedia is coming out this year.
yeah. It is $40, which is nice. Um,
Mm.
Thinking of it now, that's probably a really smart thing that they should do more of. I feel like they're very resilient to re-releasing older games, presumably because of the critical reception, but like doing this, like just remastering your older games and throwing them up for $40 for Sega is a pretty smart move. I genuinely don't know why they haven't done that for the adventure games, because
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Well, that would be more of a task than with colors, but like that would be easy sales. You could put both adventure games in one package and not even remake them, just fix them, especially adventure. And that's all you'd have to do. You could package that together for $60 and people would buy it and it'd be fine. They're two
Yeah.
full-length games.
I feel like the ambitious move there would be to package Adventure 2, Heroes, and Shadow together as like the adventure games, but also the whole Shadow the Hedgehog story.
That would be nice. I mean, those are all the games that don't get ported to anything. They're lucky that
Yeah.
they're on Steam and they're on,
Yeah.
uh PS3 era marketplaces. But like
Hmm.
Shadow's not on anything. Heroes isn't on anything. I guess they were on, or at least Heroes was on the PS3 because it had backwards compatibility and there was some PS2 games on the storefront.
Yeah, I guess that's
Um,
true.
that's the worst version of the game.
Yeah. The GameCube version has not ever been ported to anything else outside of the PC release from ancient
Yeah.
times.
So I don't know what the holdup is. There was some weird stuff I remember people were talking about, like, hey, uh, they were remaking the adventure games, but then they didn't because Boom did so bad that it like deleted all of their confidence in third party companies. But like
Hmm.
it's Sonic Adventure. You could put that on anything and it would sell. It would sell because you're not putting it on anything.
Yeah. That's the truth of it, which leads really nicely into Sonic Origins.
Yeah.
This one is, we don't know much about it, but it's probably going to sell just because it has Sonic 3 and Knuckles on it.
Yeah, which okay. From what we can tell, which is very little, they communicated very little. It
Hmm.
is widescreen ports. We don't know what versions of the games they are of Sonic's 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and CD, and that's all we know right now. I'm putting it out there. If it's just those games, I'll get it just so I can have it all on my Switch, but otherwise I'm not interested at all. Because presumably Sonic's 1, 2, and CD are the mobile ports made by Taxman and some other series veterans that helped work on Mania, and that would make sense to port those to console because Sonic's 1 and 2, those ports never got console ports, and then Sonic CD only ever got Steam, PS3. Same works as Sonic Adventure 2. But
Hmm.
getting those on consoles at all would be great. Um, all we know about these is from the trailer specifically. There's more afterwards, but from the trailer, they said that we're getting those games in widescreen with new features. And I'm guessing that the features are just water packed in with the mobile ports because the mobile ports
Yeah.
have their own new features, and I can't imagine they would do anything else. I think it's just those, and there's nothing that really like maybe you'll get a filter, and that's it.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect at all, because the thing with the mobile ports for Sonic 1, 2, and CD is that new features they had were mostly things ported from Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah,
So I don't understand. I don't have like a framework for what they could do to make Sonic 3 and Knuckles special in the same way those three ports are, aside from
mm,
it being in widescreen. That alone is kind of neat from an official source because we already have Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited, a fantastic fan-made remaster of Sonic 3 and Knuckles that uses the original ROM from Steam. It checks to see if you have it on Steam, so you have to buy the game first, but it uses the original ROM and uses its own engine and additional coding to, again, give the game widescreen, do some level design tweaks, add a bunch of extra features. That game's great. I don't know what an official remaster of Sonic 3 and Knuckles could do to compete with that or be as interesting, period.
Because putting it out there now, if all the legal jargon is true, it's not going to be the original soundtrack, period.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Sega, bucked up to pay royalties, which they're a company, they won't. We're going to be getting different music in a couple of the zones, and that's stinky.
Yeah.
You could just play Sonic 3 and Knuckles on Steam and keep the original score, and it's fine. And I'm assuming the loophole there is that it's emulated. But
yeah,
that plays
I think
into,
that's always been their loophole.
Yeah, but that plays into the fact that it's emulated. The weirdness with the original reveal trailer, because Sonic's 1, 2, and CD were all played in widescreen. It looked like they were just in the mobile port, and in the corner it said, original game footage
original
or something
footage.
like that. Yeah, original footage, something like that. Like to demonstrate that these aren't the games as they will appear in Sonic Origins, but like they're not going to be much different from that. It's Sonic 1, 2, and CD running in widescreen, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles was running in 4:3, which you could. I think it's just as much of a logic leap to say, oh, well, it's the original footage, or it says original game footage or something like that. Of course, it's not going to look like that in the final game. But you could also say it's going to look like that in the final game because that's how they get around the legalities of Sonic 3 and Knuckles to keep the music. And there's going to be some other weird things, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles is going to be emulated, maybe with some extra features, but it's emulated. And that's where a lot of people were stuck at. It was not made clear that Sonic 3 and Knuckles would be made widescreen, or at least up to par with the other mobile ports.
Yeah. My biggest fear right now is that the clarification that it will be in widescreen, which came from one of the social media reps for Sonic the Hedgehog on Twitter, what that I'm scared what that actually means is it'll be stretched. It'll just be original emulation stretched to 16:9, which would be ugly and god-awful and would stand out incredibly next to the other three games if the other three are not 4:3 stretched to 16:9.
Yeah.
And it's because of that I don't think they'll actually do that, but I'm still a little scared that it could happen.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember if they actually said that it's going to be a ground up port like the other games to run in widescreen.
Yeah, we could pull up the tweet.
Yeah, I can grab that. Because the day prior, I believe, it was like the day or two prior when they put up their anniversary celebration video that Roger Craig Smith voiced over. He's back, by the way.
Yeah.
There was footage of a bunch of older games in the background, and people were picking it apart because Sonic 2, I believe, was the one that was under Sonic 3, was running in widescreen. And the one right above that was Sonic 3, and it was Supersonic and Doomsday Zone.
And it was zoomed in to be 16:9, but it wasn't stretched.
Yeah, people were saying, oh, it's Sonic 3 running in 16:9, but because it's all the little portraits there were all 16:9. But yeah, like you said, it was just stretched footage, so awesome. Bodes well.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like you mentioned, Roger Craig Smith is back in the role of Sonic. He was gone for 3 months.
Yeah.
Don't know the full situation on that. There's been a lot of speculation that it was had to do with him wanting higher pay and Sega not offering it, and him resigning from the role, and then Sega choosing to take him back because of the positive fan outcry to him leaving. Not positive to him leaving, but like outpour of support for him when he left. So it's hard to say, because like it could very easily be, this is a little cynical, but it could very easily be Sega being like, wow, people really liked him. We made a mistake from a marketing and brand perspective. Time to hire him back on. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that it was He wanted to leave on his own accord for whatever reason, because I think he's talked about retiring a couple
Hmm.
times. Just like he was done with the role, he felt it was time to move on. Um, and Sega was like, okay, time to find a new voice actor for Sonic, and they couldn't do it. So they're like, oh, I guess we got to get Roger back, and then they got him back.
Yeah, that could
Uh,
also be the case.
one way or another, I believe he will only be around for one game going forward.
Wouldn't be surprised, because that's also part of the speculation, is that he might still be back on for lower pay than he wants.
Yeah, I would assume that to get ahead of ourselves a little bit, um, they announced a new Sonic game in the Sonic Central live stream, and I would assume that his voice recording is already done for that game. Like whether or not
Hmm.
it was going to be Roger going forward, it would still be him voicing Sonic in that game just because of how it shook out. So whether or not it's done already, I would assume they want to say he's on the roll for the time being because he is voicing Sonic in the next game, and then after that he'll move on.
Yeah, exactly. I would be fine enough with that. Not to bash on Roger Craig Smith or anything, but it was such a weird feeling with
Yeah.
him, like, having that nice send off for him, and me, like, not loving him in the role. I think he's fine, but, like, he left, and then rather unceremoniously just came back 2 days before the Sonic Central stream happened.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that really invalidated our whole conversation about Sonic voice acting.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's not so much just Roger, but there is definitely a feeling about Sonic's portrayal and other characters too. Um in the past couple of games, and that's half the voice acting and half the writing. And in the case of Roger, I think it is like a 50-50 of, oh, well, the writers are writing to sound like they're writing Sonic as though he's being voiced by Roger. It's not good writing. Boom does that same thing and it's a lot better. But they're
Hmm.
still trying to do that, and you can tell because he's very like surfer dude, kind of laid back, snarky. He makes a lot of bad quips.
I
And
think, yeah,
go
keep
ahead.
going. All
I
right.
yeah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna interject that I think the surfer dude stuff is like what makes him feel like a dad to me. It took me a while to like piece this together, but that sort of angle on it makes him sound like he's an older guy raised in the 90s. Like the 90s was his childhood rather
Yeah.
than perpetual teen.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem with this portrayal of Sonic is that he doesn't feel like a teenager anymore. And like none of the characters do, but
Hmm.
it's a big deal with Sonic because it feels like he's more grown up than I feel like he should be. It doesn't feel appropriate. It makes more sense for Boom because like in that game he's just like a depressed college in that game. In that, you know, series, he's like a
Hmm.
depressed college student. It's a different take, but it works and the design matches it. Um but in the games, they're not really trying to go for anything. But he's competing against some really strong portrayals of Sonic in the past, which really makes it hard to stand out amongst the crowd because like I could tell you all the reasons why I like Ryan Drummond. I'm not that big on Jason Griffith, but I could see why people do. With Roger, I think a lot of the support is like he's been Sonic for so long and he's all a lot of younger fans know. And like when Roger was first announced to be uh ending his role as Sonic, I remember a lot of people were like, "Oh, this sucks. What are they going to do? This is going to be so weird." Because they have literally never lived through Sonic going through a different voice change, and we've lived through two, well, three,
Hmm.
right? Like three. So it's
Yeah.
like we're used to it. I'm ready to move on and get to a different portrayal of Sonic, and whether or not that's like Ben Schwartz or someone totally new, I don't care. I'm totally into the idea of having a new set of writers and a new voice cast because that's a new step forward. But I really don't want to dwell too much on this era of Sonic writing and portrayal because it hasn't been that great. It's just not
Hmm.
something I want to stick around with. I want something different.
Yeah, we're clamoring for something fresh, and that's what we were hoping to get with the double whammy of multiple Sonic voice actors being dropped and Pontac and Graf leaving as writers for the series.
Yeah. Roger leaving does not bode well for that announcement either. Or Roger returning, rather.
I'm not so sure. I saw like a little bit of discussion about whether or not Pontac and Graf were like actually gone, but they talked about it like they're really severed from Sonic. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just holding on to hope. I don't know. I really don't want them to write another game. They were never awful, but they have been plenty mediocre.
Yeah, I don't want to lean one way or the other, because I feel like whenever information like this gets out, it's like it goes into my brain banks, and I am capable of approaching the situation from both sides, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, Roger leaving and then coming back definitely does not instill much confidence in the security of that decision, I think.
True. Next thing you know, we'll be hearing that Cindy Robinson is playing Amy again.
Yeah, that'll be weird. Is that all of the secondary characters now, are they still gone? Or well, you know what? I think if they're all back in this new game, then we know what the situation is. Then it was just kind of posturing. Like Roger's not really doing any more work on the games. He's just around to keep the PR stuff consistent. And then
Right.
once the game's up and they really switch the voice cast, then he'll be really gone.
It's messed up though. I wish that companies could be transparent about these things, but no, they can't, because they need to hold on to whatever audiences they can potentially hold on to, even if it means they're going to like alienate them within a year.
Yeah, for sure.
It's super weird. Anyway, I did pull up that tweet from Katie, the social media influencer for Sonic on Twitter. The exact wording. Been seeing quite a few of you asking about Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic Origins and whether or not we will see the game in widescreen there. Just to clear that up, yes, Sonic 3 will also be widescreen. That's it. That's the whole tweet. She never added anything more on. No one has added anything more onto that. So,
I think there's no reason to assume it won't be proper 16:9 rather than stretched.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
I guess there's some stuff worth bringing up about that in relation to a lot of other stuff, but we can get into that a little bit later.
I mean, one thing I'll bring up really quick is that we still don't know who is responsible for remastering Sonic 3 for this collection.
Yes.
And that ties into not being certain if it's the mobile ports for Sonic 1, 2, and CD going in, but if we assume that it is, because why would they let all that work go to waste? Especially when people have been demanding for a decade to get those ports on anything other than just phones, aside from Sonic CD, which they would like on anything other than phones, old consoles, and Steam. Assuming that they're going to use those 3 ports, if they don't outsource the Sonic 3 port also to Taxman and Stealth, I really hope it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
In the collection. And I hope that they'll manage to take a lot of inspiration from the way those 3 ports handled stuff like boss arenas, screen locks in other situations, new routes for Tails and Knuckles in Sonic 1 and 2, mostly Sonic 1. I hope that like the level of detail that Taxman and Stealth and other people who worked on those remasters put into those 3 ports will show in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, even if that game doesn't need it as much as those other 3 did.
Yeah. I think that like if there's any big new features that they would add to kind of bring that up to the level of the Sonic 1 and 2 and I guess CD versions, is they would add the drop dash to everything. Maybe add like a max control option and have the super peel out as well as the insta shield.
Yeah.
So
that'd be fine. Maybe
if they're crazy, they would add Mighty and Ray and just recolor their Mania sprites and tweak those.
That was another thing I was hearing people speculate about. It would be interesting. It'd be incredibly surprising, but
yeah,
it'd be interesting.
I'm not gonna hold out for it.
No,
honestly,
way.
thinking about it more, they wouldn't even recolor them. They would just take the sprites verbatim.
Yeah.
I've been down this path before. What am I thinking?
They would just take the sprites verbatim, and it would be bad. Not helped by those sprites already being somewhat of a mediocre job for Mania
Yeah.
Plus. Oh boy, that's a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, but I don't think there's much else to talk about with Origins. I hope it's not just those
No.
games. If it's those games and that's like the baseline for those games and they're all good, but there's still like other supplementary content, different games and stuff, then great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what I said everywhere else. I don't care about a new collection with the Genesis games. They're everywhere, especially these games. Like putting the Taxman ports on console, great. You could have done it this whole time.
Yeah.
We've gotten from some source that he literally has like custom made versions just for himself on his PC that all run on his PC. And like,
hmm
yeah, you could run them in BlueStacks too, but like they're native PC ports. He has the source code. He could do what he wants, and he made a proof of concept for Sonic 3 as well that they never took him up on. So for all we know, the widescreen Sonic 3 port could also be that, but I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
There should be Knuckles Chaotix in this. There should be Sega Sonic. There should be 3D games.
Spinball.
Yeah, Spinball. That like all of the big Genesis games should be on here. There should be Knuckles Chaotix, which has never been put on anything. There should be Sega Sonic, which they've tried to put on things and they never did. And then there should be the 3D games. There needs to be all of the Sonic games under one roof. They got a Mega Man collection. This.
Yeah. I got two closing thoughts for Origins before we move on. One is that I wish, kind of again going back to, wish there was more transparency from devs in the video game industry. I wish companies like this would be okay with doing the things that a lot of animation companies have done in the last couple decades of putting out old works or compilations of old works and putting a little disclaimer like, we are not satisfied with the quality of this product, but we know people request it, or people are interested in it, or it's here for archival purposes. Any sort of little thing. It's okay for people who made things in artistic pursuits, even if they're commercialized, to talk about their artistic failings or disappointments with it and still give it to people. That's interesting. That's fine. That's acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them giving us a compilation of a bunch of random Genesis Sonic games and being like, yeah, Chaotix is a very strange mess that we're not very proud of these days, but it's super interesting and it has all these nice artistic details and it adds something just to have it here. We're not saying it's a great thing that you should buy this collection for on its own, but be interested in the fact that it's here. That sort of thing. That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Second thing is, back on the topic of the music and speculation of royalties and such for the composers who were working with the Jackson estate, Michael Jackson himself, at the time of Sonic 3's development. If this re-release of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, as has been speculated, drops all of the Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson related tracks for the original compositions that Sonic Team's sound team did for the game that we know exists because of the prototype that came out the year before last, if those tracks are in the game instead, I will buy the collection just to tell Sega, yes, I still want this game even if you change it. That's the only baseline for me. Like, it's not a special reason to want to get it, but it's like, if they are going to put that out there, I'll do just a little bit of voting with my wallet. I'll do just a little bit. I'll put up a review that says I bought this because I want Sonic 3, even if they had to make concessions. I'm okay with the concessions. I'm okay with the minor concessions.
Yeah. To me, Sonic 3 isn't worth it, like on its own.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sell me on something with just Sonic 3 anymore when I could just play Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited.
Yeah.
The draw is having these games on my Switch because I'm not going to buy it on anything else. And that should be the draw for the collection period, because I can guarantee you that all of these big collections sell tremendously better on Switch compared to like PS4.
Easy.
What's the value of playing these NES games on your PS4? That's not what you own a PS4 for. Come on. You want all these games on the Switch so you can play them wherever you want. You want every game you've ever owned on the Switch because it can run them and it can do it portably. And that's what the draw would for this kind of collection would be. So I want most of the Sonic games that do not conventionally get collection ports. And that's going to be the big draw for me, is if they really can't deliver, I will probably still get it for the convenience of having it on my Switch. But like, I have Sonic 3 Angel Island and Angel Island Revisited. I have the widescreen port. If you can't outdo that, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was something else I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it was at all.
That's fine. You can hopefully remember it in the next few seconds while I mention that you brought up LTASonic earlier, which would be nice to have a compilation, but the who was it? Someone who worked on LTASonic back in the day, who's still at Sonic Team, was talking in interviews recently, or maybe it was someone specifically from N2. One or the other was talking recently about their interest combined with fan interest in a remaster / port of LTASonic for Switch in the vein of M2's other ports of Sonic 1, 2, and other games. And that might be more likely than a compilation port of LTASonic at this point, which is kind of strange.
That is very strange. I mean, I guess it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it feels as though they're needlessly splitting up their games, because like if Sonic Origins is really just these 4 games, that's weird. Hope it's $20.
Yeah.
If that, hope it's $10.
Reminds me of like the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 compared to the original Mega Man Legacy Collection, which was 1 through 6. Makes sense. It's all the NES games. That's all they were interested in porting. When there was so much support for that collection and they got as much in sales from it as they did, they were like, oh, oops, and packaged 7, 8, 9, and 10 together as an afterthought. Like, maybe afterthought is too strong a word, but it was completely secondary. Like, it had nothing to do with the original development of the Legacy Collection. Then they did the X Legacy Collection, and at that point, they really just wanted to split it up for people arbitrarily, which sucked. And it also meant that the second half of the collection is so much less worth it because they're the same price, both collections, but the second one is 5, mixed game at best, 6, which is one of the weakest entries in the X series, 7, which is the weakest entry in the X series, and 8, which is also mixed. So most people are better off just buying the first Mega Man X Legacy Collection, which is 2 very solid games in the series, and 2 somewhat less solid, but still worth playing games in the series.
Right.
And that's it. So I don't like that precedent being set by Capcom, and it feels like, if anything, Sonic Team could be following his suit in that. They could very easily only have these 4 games as a compilation and then put out another one later that's all of the odd ones. And like, those can't stand alone. Those can't be put out. You can't put out Chaotic Spinball 3D Blast and whatever else together as its own little package. No one's going to want it enough.
You know what they can do?
What?
So, Sonic Origins Collection Part 1 is the 4 games we already know about. Part 2, Sonic Adventure 1, emulated Dreamcast version, widescreen hack, 60 FPS hack, done. Sonic Adventure 2, Steam version, done. Sonic Heroes, PC version, done. Maybe with a widescreen hack. And then Shadow.
Yeah. That would be fine. That would be... It's messed up. Those 4 games together are a much bigger deal than the original Genesis games together.
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
And I don't feel like that would sell me on the idea of Sonic Origins 1. But it would still be fine, I guess.
Yeah. If it's cheap enough, it would sell me just on the prospect of having them on a portable device that isn't a phone.
Yeah, I'll get it for $20. I will absolutely get it for $15.
Yeah, but like, we know the Sonic Origins is absolutely gonna be like $30.
It better not be.
But just, I don't know what their aversion is to putting the 3D games together. Like, I'm sure it's because it's the ones that IGN says are always bad, but I don't care. I want them.
I don't like this at all, because they will acknowledge time and time again that people want a new adventure game, and they won't acknowledge it directly. They'll acknowledge it through making new games in some semblance of the vein of those ones. Sonic World Adventure, Sonic Unleashed for people who don't know, Sonic Forces, Sonic Lost World to some degree in its actual 3D sections. Like, all of these games show some sign of the dev team being like, people liked these parts of the adventure games. We know this. Let's try to play to that. And then playing to it in a very strange and off-kilter way, it doesn't work. But they know. Like, they know people want an Adventure 3. They know a large chunk of the fan base only wants Adventure 3 and will ask about it all the time.
Yeah.
And they're not catering to that fan base, that chunk of the fan base, in any other way.
Yeah.
It's like you said, they could just slap the adventure games and Heroes, even just those three together, no Shadow, would be kind of a big deal. But they could just slap any of those games together anywhere for not much effort, and
Yeah.
it would sell.
It could literally just be Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 together, nothing else, and it would sell.
Yeah. It's so strange.
Yeah. It's not the developers doing it, but they do directly lean into Sonic Adventure a lot. Like there was the concert where they played a bunch of the music.
Oh yeah, the Sonic Adventure music experience.
Yeah, there was that. They did Chow in Space. They did that Station Square remix that came out of nowhere. They do a lot of referencing Sonic Adventure. There's that Tails art recently from Sonic Channel where he's just in the shop, the market at Station Square.
There's the Sand Hill remix in Team Sonic Racing.
Yeah.
A lot of little things.
Yeah, they are definitely aware. I just do not understand why they don't capitalize on it. It feels like Sonic Adventure is truly the unifying factor of the Sonic fandom, because people will say up and down that Sonic is really split as a fandom. Everyone wants an adventure game. You'd be hard pressed to find people that don't.
That's a lot of like discussion I don't think we expected to have based on Sonic Central.
Yeah, but we're not done.
No, we're not done.
There's still one big thing that we have to talk about.
Before we get to that, just tiny little stuff. Sonic Prime did come up, the Netflix animated series that'll be happening next year. All they mentioned is it's going to have 24 episodes. It's going to take place in the Shatterverse, whatever that means. No elaboration. There was a new little Eggman logo behind the guy representing Sonic Prime. He leaned over to show everyone. Cool. There's a brand representative at Sega named Ivo Gersovic, or Ivo Gersovic, one or the other. And I just wanted to mention that because it's funny. It feels like a direct parallel to Nintendo of America hiring on Doug Bowser, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I remembered that actually coming up when they hired him, but, you know.
Huh. There's that. There's going to be a live concert that is free to attend online on Sonic's birthday, the 23rd of this month. I'm kind of excited for that. I don't know what's going to be in it, but, you know, it's Sonic music. Should be cool.
Okay.
And there's going to be a Sonic Colors animation, 2-part. It's going to have voice acting.
Is it only 2 parts?
Yeah, it's only 2 parts. Don't know how long the 2 parts are going to be, but if we're going off of stuff like Mania Adventures, it's probably going to be pretty short.
Isn't Team Sonic Racing Hyper whatever? Overdrive, I think.
Yeah,
Isn't
that was also released in 2 parts.
Okay, so that one's a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think we have to do it. So 2 days before Sonic Central, Sega released that one video. Like I said, that was voiced by Roger. That was like a very celebratory thank you for being a Sonic fan video. And at the end, in the middle, they flashed a bunch of CG stuff from a bunch of different games. And there was one from a game we had never seen before. And everyone was speculating what it could be. It was like a 2-second shot of Sonic running through a forest, and he was glowing blue. I had no idea what that was. Nobody had any idea what it was either. But my first thought was, this is the intro to Sonic Adventure. This is the Mystic Ruins. That's the Lightspeed Dash.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is not what it was. We learned in the Sonic Central that he was running through a forest. It was a pretty good looking forest. So we're at least out of the rut of Sonic forces. But Sonic was running. All of a sudden, he looked very circuity, and they were pink squares. It looked very digital, or something. He ran in a circle, and then we got a weird looking logo that looks like it spells out Zap or something. That's all we know.
2022.
Yeah, there's going to be 2022 of him.
Yeah. That's what that number meant.
Yeah. But
And that's all we knew then. Not even hours later did we start getting leaks about it. So here's your warning. If you don't want to know potentially like backdoor information about this new Sonic game before it's public, before they've shown more of it, you should tune out right about now. We've talked about everything else in the Central. This is pure spoiler content.
yeah, this game has potentially gotten spoiled rotten. Not like story wise, but like if you want to know what the game is, that's what we're going to be talking about. The reveal trailer and the events that followed really just became a big snowball of information that has not seemed to stop. It's still going. So if that's not your thing, thanks for listening. We'll be back next time. You know where to find us. From here on out, we are talking about spoilers for the game called 3, 2, 1 Sonic Rangers.
We know this name for a handful of reasons, which is really surprising.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to start off by talking about the fact that Sonic Rangers was mentioned in a couple of anonymous 4chan posts from earlier this year and midway through last year, talking about people having done focus testing for the game. For anyone who doesn't know what 4chan is, 1, bless your soul. 2, it's an image board, which is just like a message board that's geared toward posts having images in them, like individual images per message. It's kind of like a central fixture of each post. And it's also known for allowing basically fully anonymous posting, like effectively. And as a result, it's not a great site because it attracts a lot of people who say garbage stuff with no filter because there are no consequences for saying it. But that all aside, it also attracts some people who will say stuff they can't say anywhere else for non-gross reasons, for like NDA breaking reasons. And that's where you get people talking about the focus testing they were involved with for a game called Sonic Rangers. And the follow-up is that the teaser video for Sonic 2022, as well as screenshots of that teaser video given to gaming news sites for publications, and the text of press release material for the game all mention Sonic Rangers, whether it's in the file name or a folder that the file was saved in that was saved in its metadata for like the videos and screenshots, or again, just the text of press releases that are not supposed to be public yet.
Yep.
So there was no reason to trust any of those 4chan posts until now, because while maybe some people could have come up with the name Sonic Rangers just incidentally and made up some fake info about it, not knowing that there was a game in the works with that name, or with that temporary name, it's kind of unlikely. It's a really strange name.
I think because with the 4chan leak in question, like the big one that really set everything off, that I think is specifically from January of this year.
Yeah, January.
It's not just the name, but there was an additional post by the DOP of the thread that mentioned Sonic running through like a quote Unreal Engine 4 hyper-realistic forest, which is literally the teaser. It's just the teaser. That's just what happened in the teaser. He was running through a realistic generic forest with nothing in it.
Yeah.
And I think I think for me that was the kicker. That, and it also detailed in the OP itself the thing that Sonic did in the teaser.
Yeah,
So
it is apparently called the spin cycle, and it's
yeah,
just Sonic making a circle on the ground around something and it doing a thing.
yeah,
The big thing from the big post is that apparently it's going to be an open world game in the vein of Breath of the Wild, and not in the vein of other notable open world games like Ubisoft developed ones like Assassin's Creed,
yeah,
which is fine for me, I guess. Breath of the Wild is the only open world game I've ever been attracted to, so if it's more like that, it might be more up my alley, at least.
yeah.
I've never been a Ubisoft person. I don't know anyone who is.
Ugh, I would fear to be one.
Yeah, some scary energy follows that kind of person.
But yeah,
Uh,
it details that like an open world Sonic game that's like Breath of the Wild. Um, it details that there's combat mechanics that are a little monotonous, but still combat mechanics nonetheless. A skill tree. There's bosses that are just kind of roaming around, which I think is very similar to Breath of the Wild, and like the stone taluses and the Hinoxes and stuff like that. And
yeah,
it also details something that I have been looking at as special stages. There's no other way to really interpret them,
yeah,
where after you defeat bosses, you get orbs of some kind, and you could spend those orbs at, I believe, checkpoints to go into these special stages.
yeah.
Um,
The post called them cyberspace levels, but also later called them Unleashed style challenge levels.
yeah, they're basically special stages in the style of Sonic Generations and Sonic Unleashed that use like a cyberspace effect, which is where I think the spin cycle kind of digital effect from the teaser plays into.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all the same power, whatever it is. Um, and yeah, at the end of them, if you go fast enough and you beat them fast enough, then you get a Chaos Emerald. So that that's a special stage, front and center. Um,
Yeah,
there was some note about a ghost girl being involved in the story.
yeah,
Um,
and who knows about any of that?
yeah, there was very little detail about plot threads. Anything beyond just the core gameplay. We don't know if Sonic Rangers is indicative of having multiple playable characters or not. We don't know what it even
Mm-hmm.
is indicative of, period. But all of these details definitely tie into what we heard, or what we saw rather, in the teaser, in a very similar way to how we learned about gameplay elements from the past couple of Sonic games in their teaser videos as well.
Big thing I want to note in this discussion is that focus tests in the game industry are not often representative of a final product ever, because they're meant to be like showcases of current development ideas to gauge audience interest and audience reception. And so
Yeah,
it'll often be small chunks of a game in progress in like alpha stages.
yeah,
And while a lot of this stuff could be indicative of the final product we'll get, like probably strong chance we are getting an open world Sonic game, whether or not it ends up having all of these aspects to it specifically.
right.
But a lot of this stuff could end up not being in the final game.
Yeah,
Especially story stuff is unusual to have in focus tests. So I have to wonder what this. Okay, so the exact words which I have typed up here from the 4chan post are a human in parentheses question mark ghost girl thing being part of the story. This the story revolves around her. Um, who knows how much that is actually going to hold? This could be a really strong character idea they don't want to let go, and it'll be part of the game no matter what. Who can say if the story is going to revolve around her?
yeah. It definitely sounds reminiscent of a storybook game,
Yeah,
especially in that, and aesthetically. This is just kind of how the storybook games looked and felt.
especially in their reveal trailers slash opening CGs.
Yeah,
I think about like Sonic and the Black Knight's opening cinematic and how that game very quickly sets a stylistic tone for the world.
yeah.
Similar energy here.
Yeah, but overall, what seems to have been presented is something I'm definitely interested in. We don't
Hmm.
really know how Sonic handles on a moment-to-moment basis, whether that's like adventure style or if he just still has the boost or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
Boost style Sonic could still work in an open world setting, like no problem. I just wonder how interesting it'll be to interact with the environment with it. Like they would just have to spruce up the physics to make sure momentum would be fun. But to me, um, adventure style movement in like because this is basically the same as running around in a hub world in Sonic Adventure, basically, I think would be the most fun.
Yeah.
And would give them the most control because if you make an open world boost game, you're gonna wear yourself out fast.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd be the same problem that the boost games already face, but kind of worse in terms of how big they'll have to make areas and the expanse of it all.
yeah, so I really wonder what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, I hope they're not going down that route. Like, they'll have to make things kind of big for a character who runs fast, but I hope they don't do the boost for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, the messed up thing is, I don't think I really have anything else of note to speculate on with this game. It sounds like it's going to be, at bare minimum, interesting.
Yeah,
I think it'll be fun just on the idea, the basis of an open world Sonic game, just because to this day, even though a lot of Sonic games have felt different in the way they control and the way they're structured, movement is usually still interesting in regards to the terrain. And
yeah.
if that holds for this game, it will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm mostly worried that it's gonna end up like Sonic Lost World. That's what I don't want. If it's literally just a
Hmm.
big open world boost game, I'll be more comfortable than if it's like a Sonic Lost World style real flop.
That's true. I completely agree with that. But otherwise, I don't really have anything else to add. It's very like we potentially know all these little details about the game, and until anything's confirmed, that's kind of it. I don't
Yeah,
find it interesting to use it as a jumping point for what this game could be. I just want to get to the point and find out what it is.
yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like the only thing worth speculating about is if the title Sonic Rangers is indicative of there being multiple playable characters, which there's nothing to evidence that besides the name.
Yeah. There's been speculation from a bunch of different sides of whether or not Sonic Rangers is actually still the title. People have made mock-ups for the little symbol that we talked about earlier that Sonic made in, I don't know, I guess it was some kind of stone, I guess, that looked kind of like the word Zap.
Yeah,
Uh, People talking about if the game is going to be called Zap and it's just like a really weird stylized logo, or if that's an incomplete version of a logo that reads Sonic Rangers. I've seen good mock-ups for that are pretty believable. There was an interesting one posted recently that used the symbols as almost like a framework for a grid and built out the word chaos from it. That
yeah,
was also kind of believable. It looked very in style with what was already there, but it's also building off such a small base that, like, how real could that be?
yeah. Plus, Sonic Chaos is a game that exists.
Yeah, I feel like Sega wouldn't be too fussed about that,
Yeah,
but who knows? Because to be fair, the Sonic Chaos that exists is one not even that notable Game Gear game, and it's not like they haven't done games before that reuse a name, but they
mhm.
haven't done it often.
Yeah. So,
I don't know.
yeah, I really don't know. I'm hoping that it's good. A lot of this sounds interesting enough for me to be engaged. I
Yeah,
hope
it's
we find out
captivating,
more. Yeah, I hope we find out more at E3, which is very soon.
right?
Um, some
And his birthday.
yeah, some of the way that stuff leaked makes it seem like this was when we were supposed to find out what the game is.
Hmm.
Um, Especially with the press release stuff, because like the title leaked from Sega themselves, so it's either they're dialing it back because they changed the name, or something happened where this was supposed to be the gameplay reveal and plans fell through for an earlier. teaser.
Yeah. A lot of stuff from Sonic Team has been pushed back due to the pandemic, for sure.
Yeah.
Something that people in the fandom love to bring up a lot is that we were going to uh, last year in March have a South by Southwest conference like we usually do, not conference but presentation from Sonic the Hedgehog as a brand, not necessarily Sonic Team, but Sonic the Hedgehog as a brand, like we've been having every year for the past handful of years. And then we didn't, and we were told in April, I think, that they were going to find another avenue to get us that information, and then effectively radio silence on that presentation, like, period,
Yeah.
till
Like,
now.
for a year.
Because, like, Aaron Weber, who was the previous major voice of Sonic for social media sites, mentioned in some streams just offhandedly that like they were still trying to work on that presentation and get it to people in a way they were satisfied with, and it just never went anywhere.
Yeah.
So people were really excited for the Sonic Central stream, and then what we got was the 12 minutes of 5 minutes worth of material.
Yep.
So I think they were just hit real hard by the pandemic and having to work from home and downsize and slow down.
Yeah. Understandable, but still frustrating regardless.
Yeah. Once again, more transparency in the industry would have helped.
Yep.
Downer note, but like that's where we're at.
Yeah. We got to go back to like however many years ago where games would just be announced in press releases. Just out of the blue.
There's a period where I thought Nintendo Directs were the coolest thing, and part of that, honestly, was because Nintendo of America is as directed by Satoru Iwata, had a lot of devs coming up front to the camera and being like, hi, our project is not where we want it to be right now. We're pushing it back. We do have a little bit to show you, or we don't have very much to show you, but we're hoping to bring something to you within like the next half of year. Like that sort of stuff. It feels like no one does that anymore in like the avenues that we're expected to get info about games.
Yeah. It would also be nice if Nintendo Directs were prompt again and were regular sources of information, which is what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, instead they're these like big events now that they keep trying to drum up hype for, or rather like they know hype will be drummed up even if they announce it 2 days before it happens, and then it's not worth the hype because nothing is.
Yeah.
But people are so starved for info.
Yeah, I think the problem on that front is strictly just even before COVID, there was a radio silence from Nintendo, so I can't even give them that benefit of the doubt entirely because we hadn't had a full Nintendo Direct before the last one, which I think was February, since September of 2019. It had been over a year.
That sounds about right.
And that's ridiculous. They should have had more avenues of information.
Yeah, and they came back with mini directs too.
Yeah, they had all the mini directs throughout 2020, which was them basically trying to scrounge together what they had, which was very little, and it still felt bad because it felt like they were deliberately not being as transparent as they used to be.
Yeah. I feel like I've talked about this before, but it might have only been in non-recorded calls on our Discord server or something, but like it really feels like the change in president for both Nintendo of Japan and Nintendo of America following Satoru Iwata's passing was a change in how Nintendo handled itself publicly.
Yeah.
There just wasn't as much of that willingness to tell audiences and the fan bases in general what is happening with any given project, any given release schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sonic Central was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to put a cap on the leak stuff, there was some other stuff that is floating around some of the other announcements.
Right. I mentioned it briefly, the Sonic Colors Tails icon stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of that, and there's also stuff from before Sonic Central even happened.
Oh yeah,
So we knew Sonic Colors Ultimate and Sonic Origins were happening because there
that's
were
right.
both store listings for them, and notable leaker with questionable history, Zippo, um, had blog posts detailing a lot of the stuff. And if memory serves, a lot of it was correct. There was some extra information about Sonic 3 and Knuckles in regards to Sonic Origins. It was a
Yeah.
dedicated post that was like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is coming back. Can't say exactly how yet, but it is coming back. And it said this and this and that about um, the ports. Music will be changed and put to the original beta music, which you might have heard in the PC version. Um, the port is not being handled by Taxman. I forget if it was mentioned who, but if memory serves, if it's anyone, it's the people who did Angel Island Revisited. So that's
Oh,
something at least.
that is something.
Let me see if I could dig it up in the meantime.
Yeah, if you want to get on digging that up, I can kind of pick up because it is worth noting that Zippo was also the one who leaked the Sonic Adventure 1 remaster that was potentially happening from Sonic Team that didn't happen. Um, yeah, those were things we knew about through store listings and then were confirmed during Sonic Central. But we didn't really know much, and then of course we still didn't know that much after Sonic Central.
Okay, I have found it. There's changes to the music, like I said. It appears to be the beta music as that was originally intended. Don't expect
Mm-hmm.
any of the songs that Michael Jackson and Buxer worked on to return. Angel Island, Hydro City, and Marble Garden should be fine. The music deal was finalized in 2020, early 2020, and they're now allowed to use Sonic 3 in promotional materials again, which is why the Sonic 3 Tiger game system got a re-release last year. There's a changing of the guard at the Jackson estate in 2018, and that led to talks opening up again. It's being developed by an outside studio, or was originally going to be outside, but Sega brought it in-house.
Oh, interesting.
It'll be the first Sega internally developed Sonic collection since Gems Collection.
Been a while. What was
And
that? 2004, 2005.
yeah, 2005. And it says
Yeah.
fans are involved, but not Evening Star, so that's a no tax man. And it says a
Mm-hmm.
mobile release is planned, unsure if it'll come out with the rest of the collection. And that's
Right.
specifically in regards to Sonic 3, of course.
Yeah. Sure, we'll be hearing about that soon.
Yeah.
So the thing with the head of the Jackson estate, I remember when this leak was passed around on Sonic Retro well before the Sonic Central stream was announced. Some people were smart enough to be like, hey, I know the people in the Michael Jackson subreddit are like very heady about this stuff and do a ton of research. I wonder if someone could ask them if that's true about the changing of the guard in 2018 for the Jackson estate. And I don't know if anything came of that, but I thought I would at least put that out there that like that's aside from none of this being that confirmed because it's a leak where only some things have been substantiated.
Mhm.
That thing in particular, I don't know if it's been substantiated yet. It could be.
Perhaps.
It'd be worth doing some looking into.
Yeah. But yeah, with regards to colors, there's been some extra weird stuff from leaked screenshots and videos from I believe one of the artists' blogs, art stations.
Yeah, it was one of the artists working at Blind Squirrel Entertainment on the port. Posted some stuff, if I remember correctly, not even recently. Like it was a little while ago and just no one saw it. Of visual effects that he's done for the port, for the remaster. Just some brief video clips with no audio. There was some footage of Sweet Mountain, some footage of Starlight Carnival, and some footage of, I think it was Starlight Carnival's map. And the most notable stuff is that there are gold coins strewn about in the levels now, and there's a counter for them on the overworld, on the zone maps. That Tails icon in the heads-up display seems to be tied to this three-dimensional Tails head pickup that's also in the level somewhere. There might be multiple, not sure. The video clip we saw only showed one, and it was in Sweet Mountain. It was surrounded by a couple of gold coins. Who knows what that's all about? It's likely, like we were talking earlier, that the gold coins have to do with getting cosmetics.
Yeah.
They might also tie into that mode with Metal Sonic, which also might just have to do with cosmetics.
Right.
Who knows what the Tails head is for? Again, could also just be cosmetics. Would be really weird. But those those things are there.
Right, yeah.
Not really much else is known.
Yeah.
But it does seem to deconfirm the idea that some people had that Tails might be playable. That's not a guarantee, but at the very least, this Tails icon stuff doesn't have anything to do with Tails being playable.
Yeah, it also seems to confirm that lives are gone. There's
That
just
too.
no lives, because there's no lives on the map screen.
Yeah. Which I guess would be fine. I don't think Sonic Colors ever benefited from having a live system.
Mm.
I just wonder what they're doing in its place.
Probably just nothing,
Probably just nothing.
which is nice. Maybe if anything, they'll have it in the Eggman shuttle,
Egg shuttle
mode. Yeah.
That would make sense. It would make more sense anyway. It's already a very arcadey experience. I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
You know, it's almost surprising that we managed to actually drag this out for our usual recording time length.
Yeah. I was expecting this to be a shorter episode, and then it wasn't.
Yeah. It still could have been, but I definitely felt like it wasn't going to be once we hit the like 25-minute mark and we were still talking about stuff that actually happened on stream.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, you know, plenty vocal that it was not very interesting of a stream on its own. Oh well.
Yeah.
Again, sure we'll hear more soon. Hopefully, we're not going to hear more in the time between recording this and this episode going up.
Yeah, that would definitely stink.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
They already got us once. They got to do it again when we're working overtime.
I'm not ready for a second time. Not yet.
Not again. Not like this.
I'm Crep. You can find me on Twitter at CrappyBlue.
I'm Mitt. You can find me on Twitter at MitsumiMario. And you can find us together collectively, as in this podcast, at LTASonic.carrd.co.
And the podcast is also on Twitter at LTASonic. And if you really want to, you can back us on patreon.com/LTASonic. We'll see you in the next zone.
The next weird zone with less leaks, hopefully.
Hopefully.